So we're going to go through all the steps that are involved. I'm going to talk about what each of these are along the way. But I have a terrible poster in the back. I need to do a better job of printing. Look at that. Wow. So I need to actually get this blown up. And I was like, oh yeah, I'll print it on nice paper so it'll stay. But until you get close to it, you can't see anything. So from there, can you read it?
Reminds me of the thing from Silicon Valley.
It does test and evaluate prototype.
Alright, so yeah, it goes through all the steps. So I'm not going to ask you to read it. So the idea of the design process is really that it's cyclical. That's the key to the whole thing. I must have spent, 3 weeks in my first engineering course talking about this. And by the end of it, I wanted to rip my hair out. What I got from it is this. You need to make something, you need to you need to research, you need to make something, like with prototypes, you need to actually produce it, you need to test it, and you need to fix it. And then you continue through the process every time. So when you fix it, you research what you could have changed, what you could have done better, you make a new prototype, you go through, until you get to what? The optimal solution. When you get to that optimization or that maximization or minimization or whatever it is you're looking for, then you know you've kind of finished. But the concept here is that it's, again, cyclical. All right, so yeah, let's go through the steps. That's what I wanted to do first. So step 1, recognizing the need for a product or service. Where could you see this? Give me an example recently where you've seen, I at least have, I don't know if you have, but where there's been a need for a service or a product or something, and it has now been put on the market. What do you got? Perfect. Okay, any sort of car hailing service via phone. Because there's so many now, obviously. But Uber was one of the first. Actually, was it the first one?
I think so. I know the first one.
I read a book this summer called, something with innovation design or innovation design. It's on my desk. It's a very good book, though. And part of it was about the concept that, ready? And this is something that is so counterintuitive. The first to the market is not always going to be the most successful. And a lot of people think that, okay, there's nobody in this market right now, so I'm going to rush and get a product out there. But what happens as a result?
People steal it and make it better. That's exactly what the show Silicon Valley is about.
They
released their version of data compression, and then the bigger, more
what was it called?
Huli. They have more money, so they just take what they made and just made it better.
Yeah, so the concept here is that you be the first one in the market doesn't always mean you're the best. So recognize the need for a product is good, but you need to make sure that before you enter that, your product is at the top of its game in a sense. Now, this also comes about, especially now, what website, besides, so you're talking about Uber and stuff, but what website could this play a huge role in? People all the time use crowdfunding. What is it called again?
GoFundMe?
Yeah, GoFundMe or Kickstarter. So you look on there and you'll see that people come up with these crazy ideas. And you might think right now that there's no need for a product, but believe it or not, the more people put ideas on Kickstarter, the more it actually, I think, generates other ideas and other concepts. So this is like, if you think about it, instead of small companies being the only ones that can now fund all these products, now you've got people that can fund it that want to. And as a result, not small businesses, but single people, or not single, you know what I mean? Non-companies, entities can come up with their own products. But again, making sure that there's an actual need for it, because there's a good chance nowadays with so many patents and so many people actually coming up with ideas that it might already be taken. And now you gotta look at that product and say, what can I do to make it better, right? And that's kind of like what we were talking about with Uber was the first one. And then there's, Lyft, Via, Get, what else? You know any others? I've heard of those 3.
Black Taxi. I see that.
Black Taxi? Okay. So yeah. What? I don't know.
Lyft is cheap.
Lyft is also you don't need a license.
Is Lyft the
Well,
one?
you need a driver's license, but you don't need
$5,
a specific
Like a
driving
cabin
test.
license or something?
Amazing. I only put $2 for it.
Yeah, and this last part here is this, and this is really actually kind of cool. Think about it. If you've ever heard somebody complain about some sort of product or service, it means there's a need for improvement. Think about it. If somebody's complaining, it means they're not doing it right, meaning the product is not actually produced correctly.
Pokemon Go.
Pokemon Go, what else?
You need to Pokemon Go home.
Pokemon Go to the polls.
You gonna say?
Every single cell phone company, all of them, is horrible.
Right? It's so true. I mean, think about cell phone companies. The bills now are absurd. The data stuff is crap. Verizon trying to say limit. Here's my favorite. Ready? Do you see the commercial? 20 gigs of limitless. No, not unlimited. That's their key. So they go, forget unlimited data plans, get the 20 gigabyte limitless data plan from Verizon. They give no explanation on the commercial about what limitless means, and they say forget the unlimited plan. What the hell?
Well,
what
actually,
is that?
It makes sense. It makes sense
Explain it, 'cause maybe you know it.
Because T-Mobile has unlimited, but when you get to a certain place,
Well, there's data caps.
you get like
Speed
down
stop.
to 3G. And
No, I've heard of that. A lot of phone plans that do unlimited, once you hit a data cap, your speeds drop dramatically. That's their thing. That's how they get around it. But still, they call it limitless data. That's not the right word for that.
Yeah,
20 gigabyte limitless data means there's no limit.
That movie is
anywhere on
pretty
the
good.
data. You can go anywhere on the internet. Just you can view it.
'Cause
You have the freedom of the internet.
All right. Step 2, the problem definition and actually understanding. So first, and now this is assuming you're an engineer working for a client, right? That's what I'm specifically talking about here. So that's really where you're gonna, that's really where you're gonna get your answers to this. So the engineer is not necessarily the person that will invent something; it's the person that actually fabricates the product that somebody else wants them to do. So asking a lot of questions and understanding the problem. Why do you want to subdivide into groups of engineers? Why might that be important to groups, Carolyn?
Because then you can like focus on getting things correct, and then if you have everything correct, put it all together.
Yeah, exactly. You break it up into components. That's kind of what you guys should do for this next project tomorrow. Later today with the brainstorm, early next week. So the concept of the Rube Goldberg project, I want you to think about the fact that, hey, you're not going to all be working on one little thing together. You should probably be working on separate things. So to show you a cool, I'll show you a cool Rube Goldberg in a little while, which I think I've showed before to Science Club at some point, so you might know it.
Okay, go.
There's the OK Go and there's also the Red Bull. Either
Oh, the
one.
Red Bull's
They're both
amazing.
really cool.
It's a Red Bull.
But that kind of
Walmart does like Champa.
a Rube Goldberg is a simple task to be completed through several complicated or simple tasks that come out to one outcome. So have you ever seen, how many of you have seen Back to the Future? Do you remember the beginning of Back to the Future? When he wants toast in the morning?
Oh yeah.
It's like a whole chain of events that has to happen, and then also the food for the dog.
Furby too. Not Furby. The thing.
The iCarly episode when Spencer's trying to feed the fish.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think that's a great.
What show?
iCarly. It's a Nickelodeon show. They're drinking Josh.
Oh.
Don't know drinking Josh.
How old do you think I am?
You are horrible.
Those shows were out when I was like 20. I wasn't watching them. Weren't they out about 10 years ago? Were you guys like 8 when those shows were out?
Yeah. No, you're out.
Wait, what?
I'm 30. How old are you? I'm a little older.
Wait.
Like such a
30?
I am 30.
So you watch like? Are you like?
How old do you think I was?
Lucy.
I thought you were like,
24.
You watch like the?
I just turned 30.
Do you watch like the Dick Van
I'm an old man
Dyke
now. It's terrible.
I have no idea. It's just like a little
Did I watch what?
I
show?
love
The Dick Van Dyke show and like I Love Lucy.
I Love Lucy. It's a great show.
That's true. That's a great show.
All right. Let's go to the next one.
Silent films as a kid.
Research and preparation. So, we need to research. We need to research if the product already exists first. It's the first thing you have to look into. You don't want to create something that's already been there. What's the saying?
Don't reinvent the wheel.
Don't reinvent the wheel.
Oh.
Don't reinvent the wheel. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's the saying. It's not broke, don't fix it. So you have to think about, are there components that exist that you're going to outsource? That's another part as an engineer you always consider. And if you make a phone, Google's new phone, the Pixel, has anyone seen that?
Yeah.
It's $650.
$650.
It's going to be sick. Wait a year. It'll be awesome. So whenever I was out this week, I was sick. I watched 3 hours. It was like the whole
You
thing.
watched the whole thing?
I watched the whole thing.
I just watched highlights.
Well, like, it was live.
It's just they have a new like it's not even like Android.
The new hardware.
It is Android, but it's just like.
But no, the Google came out with like a new hardware division. It's
Yeah.
a lot of stuff, not just the phone. The phone is one part of it. But the operating system is sick. And the actual
Was it
system
gonna
on
do
it.
what?
Oh, there's an assistant now, there's all this stuff.
Oh, for the phone.
Really
For the
impressive,
phone.
yeah. Not for the good. So yeah, can you outsource part of it to a company? So what I was going to say with them is that actually they picked one of the best companies to build the hardware of their phone, HTC. Have you heard of HTC before?
Yeah.
If you've ever heard of HTC phone, I have. I've had 3 of them now, and they're phenomenal. Like the actual hardware is amazing. They're solid designs. The batteries are good. They just run really well. I now have a Samsung. This
I
7.
think it's on the note.
It's a piece of crap. It's terrible. It's not
Yeah,
the
they're
real one.
gonna go out.
No, not that. The battery sucks. The battery's terrible. It's got a fast charger.
Those are the note.
I mean, it explodes too. It's got a fast charger in it, so it charges in like 30 minutes to 100%. But if it charges that fast, what do you think else happens? It discharges just as fast.
That's what.
By 5 p.m.,
That's what's gonna happen
it's
with the
done.
Google phone. They said it was 7 hours.
Was it?
They said it was only 7 hours.
Charge life.
7 hours to last.
It's the same.
Constant use, that's not bad actually, 7 hours. What do you mean? 7 hours not being, you know what I mean? You specify that.
They say something about the iPhone 6.
Well, I don't know.
But that goes like
This is so awesome.
after like a while.
So it's good or bad?
Well, I mean, it starts off good, but then it just
Well, that's what happens to a lot of phones. So that's one of the big things, guys. Hey, there's a spot in the market for that right now. I'm not joking about it. After what, 9 months, would you say? 8
Yeah.
months? Every single phone company, for some reason, has these batteries. And after 9 months, they degrade so much that they're pointless now. And what do? They want you to upgrade, obviously, upgrade early, so you get on their new device plans, these device payment plans. I'm telling you, they're wirelessly monitoring your battery and screwing it up, or like doing it remotely.
It's like my phone dies at 30%.
Oh, that happens. My phone, you have my phone, it gets down to 2% way too fast, but then it stays at 2% for like 30 minutes. But yet, from like 10 to 2%, it takes 2 seconds. to drop. Makes no sense. Did you see what they were doing with the Note?
7%. It's really
They're what?
sad. My phone dies sometimes at 7%. I'll be literally just look at the phone. I'll be like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, 7%, and then I look again, and it's dead. I'm like, why? But
Wireless charging is pretty cool. The only thing I know about wireless charging is you still need a wire.
I have a wireless charger on mine. I put on the induction charger.
I used to have a Nokia phone. and I had wireless charger.
So
I hated that phone.
What happened?
I have that wireless charger
Yeah.
thing in my car, but it doesn't work for iPhones. You need to get a case to activate
Make it-
the NFC thing.
Same with the things at Starbucks.
But like Android, you don't need it. You just throw it.
Yeah, drop it on top.
Have you seen the things at Starbucks? The tables have built-in wireless charging on.
Is that right? It's pretty fun.
But any phone that doesn't have wireless
That's what he's
charging,
talking about.
you have to get like.
Yeah, he's talking about adapting.
If iPhone can do that, but you need like it's like
He needs to get the iPhone wireless charger, I'm sure.
I might have misread it, but it's like the phone. Like the
They
6
always make
Plus.
their stuff like very personal.
Right.
Like you have to have their charger, or else it's not gonna work.
You know?
Yeah.
It's not an iPhone, the pictures are gonna be
It's
amazing.
like 22 megabits. Crack sensitive.
All right. So yeah, we talked about this. Don't reinvent the wheel. Blah blah blah. Let's see what else. Anything else? Collect data. Say again. Review and organize. All right. Let's go to the next slide. Oops. So 4, conceptualization. So what do we call this when you're in middle school? You call it brainstorming, pretty much, right? Brainstorming. Generate ideas and concepts without detailed analysis. So these are like your idea of, okay, what are you going to actually have? Is it going to be a rotating object? For this is the Rube Goldberg, for example. Something that slides, something that moves, something that involves friction. There's your conceptualization. Identify the components of the solution. Now, the key to any complex problem is to break it down into small segments, which is exactly what this next project is about. You're going to complete a complex thing through several small, simple tasks. So that's what we're talking about here with a complex problem. And then for any major project, you should have a timeline. Okay? Synthesis. So calculations and actual models. Traditionally here, for real engineering projects, you would have models. You wouldn't actually have fabrications of stuff. You would usually run some sort of computer model. So for example, when I was in grad school, I took a course called CFD, Computational Fluid Dynamics. And what it pretty much was running scenarios of different things occurring that involve heat transfer and fluid flow. So if you recall from last year in physics, I talked about types of heat transfer: convection, radiation, and conduction. Conduction was the electrical. So those 3 modes of heat transfer are involved in anything, like cooling down a computer, looking at the CPU, what actually happens. So in these classes, you would model things. You would have an area with high heat intensity, and that would be a Q value, flux, the amount of heat coming from it. And then you would have these pipes, maybe, or like a heat sink or a fan blowing air over it. And you could simulate these models on a computer and actually, as a result, determine the different temperatures on different parts of the actual motherboard or CPU or processor, whatever it is that you're looking at for the product, whatever it is. What else? The last part is important if you're a real engineer. If you're doing stuff around the house, no big deal, but you need to be compliant with any codes or standards. So if you're doing real work, like structural work in your house, you can't just remove a beam in your house. You actually have to get it approved. You have to get the license to do it. You have to usually get an engineer to actually be the one to sign off or do it.
Can I blow up my house?
As long as you don't survive it, or else you're gonna go to jail probably afterward. But yeah, I mean, you want to demo your own house with explosives, you'll be in jail for a long time.
Do you know the movie The Producer?
I don't.
They blow up the theater at the end.
Oh, yeah.
I've never seen it.
They blow up the theater and they want to go out with it, but then they survive and then they go to jail.
That's pretty much what happened to you, Nick. That's what I'm saying. If you blew up your own house. So let's just not blow up our own house for that reason.
Apartment building that's 30 floors, so that would probably be a bad idea.
You'd probably be in jail for a longer time. All right, step six, evaluation. So analyzing the problem in a bit more detail, looking at the actual parameters. What are some parameters you have? The design parameters. We talked about these. Parameters are similar to things like constraints, right? Parameters. What are parameters that might be important? Money, time, manpower, materials, all that kind of stuff that goes into any sort of design process. Person power. Sorry about that. Very good. It's just it's a phrase that's always been used that way. Let's see. All right, so at the end, test the working models if possible. That's always important if you can do that. So this last part, this is the part of engineering that is like the crux of engineering. This is really what it is. You have to be able to be good at it to actually be somebody who's successful as an engineer. Or, in general, if you want to be successful with your job, you need to optimize yourself, or optimize your work. If you guys notice, and we're going to talk about something that, whatever, it's no big deal to talk about, but specifically, if you look around the school, ever notice that like some students and some teachers and some other people optimize their time better than others? Whereas other people just like don't necessarily do all their work. So I'm talking about, I'm saying there are people that are like really big slackers and people that are really not.
I wouldn't know about that.
So optimization in this case here, it's not just talking about time, but in general optimizing things. So you want to make the best product so it doesn't fail the second time through. Or for example, like I was fixing a pair of shoes I have, and I needed to get this stuff to like an adhesive to get the heel attached, reattached. It's a nice pair of shoes, and it just started separating. So,
Well, like my shoes.
yes, like that, exactly. So, in the process of doing so, I was about to just actually just put the stuff on and, put it together, hold it together. But I just read like a 5-minute article online, or like it took me 5 minutes to read about how to actually do it the right way. So, believe it or not, like there are certain things chemically wise that would bond surfaces better than others. So why do something once poorly and not invest the time in it, right? Versus investing the time now, and from this point on in your life, you know how to do that task. You follow what I'm saying? And you can be lazy, and you can keep doing something terribly, and you have to keep fixing it. Or you can invest the time to learn a better algorithm to make it more efficient. So for example, me, I have to PDF all the time. It's the truth. When you have Word documents in class, you always have to make a PDF out of it. And that's what I post online. So would it make sense for me to hit File, Save As, PDF over and over? No. So I created a keyboard shortcut online that automatically saves the PDF instantly. Or I use equation editor all the time. You guys know in physics, remember all the equations would be in there? I made a shortcut on my keyboard that, there's an insert equation or object equation, whatever. It automatically puts the equation right on there for you, and you just start typing. So it's simple. I know it's stupid, that's what I'm saying. But these kinds of things, optimization, that's what this is talking about. Making the best of some sort of situation you have. So in this case, for our product, we're going through the cycle. And design, we analyze it. Can it be improved? If so, go back through and keep going. If it can't be improved, you're at your final design. Okay, optimization, again, is about getting the best out of something, whether it's minimization or maximization. Any questions or comments on that? The last part we're going to do a project on. We're going to do a short project on, actually. And it's something you can relate to very, very much, or you can relate to quite often, I would say, actually. Just unfortunately, it's a product of the world we live in. Being delayed. So whether it's on trains or planes or anything else, being delayed, on anything. So if you've ever been at the airport and your flight gets canceled, or the weather's a problem, and the flight's grounded, or something happens, and you're like, oh man, I gotta wait like 5 hours. The whole concept of that is all about what's called linear programming. And we're going to talk about that concept. We're going to do a short project on this topic. using optimization as our concept in the end to optimize, whether minimize or maximize. What do you think at the airport are the things they look for when they're trying to coordinate all the flights? What are they looking at? Give me some things. And use the words minimize and maximize first. What are they trying to do? What are they trying to minimize? What are they trying to maximize? Minimize time you have to wait.
Maximize planes leaving or flying when.
Okay, maximize planes coming and going. What else about those planes? Specifically about those planes. You want them to be
Fueled up.
always filled up, yes, yes.
Like,
But what do you want to do? You want to use all the seats possible. So you want to always fully board your planes. I mean, after the time when you're gonna have, like 200 people waiting, planes down or around. What else? There's other stuff. There's a few other things I can think of off the top of my head. Come on.
Like those escalators that are flat.
Oh, I meant for the planes, though. But what do you mean?
Like when you it makes traffic go faster. Like,
Oh yeah, well,
like
yes,
walking
sure.
on
That increases the speed through an airport. I agree.
It's a free skateboard. It's right to the airport.
I don't think that would really help, but it might emotionally maximize the people's outcome. You know, complaints about their flights.
it's like
No, but people do that. They'll give like free vouchers or free stuff so people don't leave that and reach their
Virgin Airlines does that a lot. Like they give you like free stuff just so that you
Yeah,
have Virgin Airlines.
Southwest used to come around with like warm cookies, like hot, like short
You
chip
can
cookies.
get
Seriously, it was
you
amazing.
can get a free haircut at Virgin, like in England when you go to like the Virgin like club thing.
You get a free haircut.
You can get a free haircut.
See, there you go. What about things like if your plane gets canceled, you don't want to have, and say you have a layover somewhere else, you don't miss the connecting flight. So that's a huge problem
That's
because there's
happening.
so much connection to flights.
Oh my god.
That you miss one flight, it's a chain of events, and now the plane, the flight company is losing a ton of money. They have to up you to another plane or stuff. So it's a big problem. So linear and nonlinear program actually really came about as a result of that. And I took a course in this, so in grad school I took like a course, it's so crazy because I took, imagine the entire course in that one bullet, that's what I'm talking about, literally, linear programming, that's the whole course was on. And the professor that was involved with it actually had worked in an airline, or worked with an airline, in their optimization techniques for this specifically. So he went into like a crazy amount of detail with us on what they actually used to do. It was incredible. I mean, think about how many objective functions you need to optimize, meaning minimize or maximize at the same time. So you're minimizing this while maximizing this, while minimizing this, etc. I'll let you get a break in a sec. Let me just finish these slides. So 8 is presentation. Can you actually communicate your ideas, whether it's written or oral? Obviously, both need to be there. For some of your projects this year, a couple of them you're going to have written parts. And then a couple of them you're going to just give presentations to other groups. And you're going to present what you find as well. All right. And these were just examples, okay, for design products. We've been talking about this the whole period, so I'm not going to go into all this. We've been talking about actual cell phones already. We test the car and then
Oh my god,
things.
that's crazy now.